Well, welcome everybody. We're just kind of winging this right now. Nothing is seeming to be working exactly how I want it right now, but joining me in the booth is Kyle Clinworth. Clindy, you're kind of making things work as well. He's watching my stream of the race, and normally I let the color commentators float through the field and do whatever they want. But right now he's watching my feed as we both had difficulties getting into the session, but we're here. Welcome to RaceVerse coverage of round one of season 2 of the VOR DW12 Series, now known as the ICONIC Series. And there's a reason why it's called the ICONIC Series. Go back and look at that era of IndyCar. There was an iconic program that led to the formation of the DW12. And I thought the name was fitting, and it was a good choice by Julian to name it the ICONIC Series. But welcome, Clindy. How are we doing today?
Well, I broke iRacing, Gary, so I learned something new today. If you want to be a driver, they don't let you up in the booth, so I can't you take on the driver analyst role like Jeff Burton would on an NBC broadcast or Hinchcliffe when it comes to IndyCar, right? I can't take you for a lap around the track and then come up to the booth at the same time. I'm strapped in the infield, so I didn't want to be on the scoring pylon, so I figured I would just back out of the session and join you here in the Discord stream, so I appreciate you being flexible.
Yes, sirree. I'm trying to get my, I normally have a script and everything that I read from to start these things off, and for some reason that didn't come up. There it is. And now you see what I have there. And of course it pops up on the main screen, of course.
Secret's safe with me, Gary.
That's all right. Well, let's jump into this thing, because first of all, folks, here we go. New graphics. Ooh, this is RaceVerse 1.5. The old overlay is gone for the time being. And let's bring this one in as we are now showing speeds of, I believe, right now. Tristan Fortin is the pole sitter, or at least provisionally on the pole for about another 14 seconds. With a 2:23.5, O'Sullivan with a 2:23.3, Bleibel with a 2:23.2, Strouth with a 2:23.2. Want to probably get those out to the third decimal point for the next iteration of this overlay, but qualifications are up. So what we're going to do is we're going to clear all this. Boom. And then I'm going to do the next thing, which is this. The starting grid. And there we go. So again, we're just kind of running things. This is the first time we're running this overlay, so we're just trying a few things here. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and start the music, the starting lineup music. There we go. And the overlay is not quite working in the way it should. So we're showing 11th and 12th on the front row, which shouldn't be the case. And then we have Bleibel and Strauss in P2, Weber and Kinder in P3, Ench and Fortune, in row 4. There we go. For some reason it changed there to Fortson and Liam Sullivan on the front row. And then 9th and 10th would be Santos and Bonnie. Moving on is Christensen and Vanden Bosch, and 13th is Lee Kane. Now we have more than 13 working here today. I'm not sure why we're not showing everybody.
Are those the only drivers that post in time, Gary? The others?
Yeah, must be. Well, so now we got, here we go. Lee Kane, Patrick Silvazzi. We got Christensen and Vanden Bosch again. Michael Fortune and Bart Feuerstein in 15th and 16th. Hunter Bogdan 17th. Leighton Furness in 18th. And Julian Altena. I think Julian's going to do the worst the first challenge here in 20th. But we do have more than 20 cars. I don't believe Hugo Gallas took time. And I don't think Floridor Doshinko took time. So we'll move that along. Yeah, that's weird. So we still got some more work on the overlay to do here. but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Rookie stripes on the overlay, but not in the field. A lot of familiar names here if you tuned in for the ICONIC season last season. This is the first race of, what season is this, Gary? 3?
Yeah,
4?
season 2. This is season 2. So, the defending champ not in the lineup. In fact, there is one of their cars in the lineup, which is Edson Santos. So the defending squad is here. There is Edson right there in the Leaner Energy Dallara DW12. As we are lining up now, going down the backstretch here at Michigan Speedway. The rule set for today, 4 sets of tires, 1 in the car, 3 in the pits. Fuel is 85%, which is approximately 15.7 gallons. Green, white checker? No, because this is an IndyCar. We don't do that here. But the IndyCar waiver round rule is being enforced. Pitting. Drivers are required to announce when they're entering and exiting pit road. And if other cars are in close proximity, drivers are permitted to drive no more than 3 pit stalls when entering and exiting their own pit. So we'll be watching that. Track, of course, is 2 miles. Race distance is 100 laps, or if we get into a lot of yellow time, 90 minutes.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I hope it doesn't happen either. So I don't think Doshinko is taken. It might be either starting for the pits, but he's not going to be taking the green flag here on the rolling start. And we are getting ready to go green for a new season of VOR DW12 Racing, the ICONIC Series, here on RaceVerse. Green flag. And side by side a little bit further on back, 4 wide, actually going to enter the turn here at Bly Bell. Pedro down low. A bunch of new drivers in the lineup today. Welcome, everybody. Julian already moving up to 17th from starting in 20th. And 15%. Liam O'Sullivan to the lead.
This is something I was really interested to see how these cars would draft. With the way the draft envelope works here and how fast Michigan is, I think clean air is going to be very, very important. The aero wash, these cars make downforce differently than the DW, or I guess the RR18s that are on the surface right now. And so I feel like these things are way harder to turn in dirty air, personally. But Michigan is so wide, there are so many lines to find and hunt that clean air to keep your tires clean and fresh for the whole run.
And there we go, that overlay version 1.5 working now, as you see intervals. And I believe this one, next one here, is intervals between each other. So there's the gap and then the interval, and that's kind of what we're looking at. A little further back, Lee Kane and Silvazzi in a bit of a tussle. Lee Kane up top there in the black Havoline DW12. Got a couple throwback schemes going on here. Alexander Bonney, I believe he's in that green 711. Is that him in that 711? No, he's the 711's right behind. It's Michael Fortune right there in the green 711. Kane in the wall, and we have a multi-car incident. Silvazzi, I believe, was involved in that as well.
Oh, Silvazzi's tire came off. I thought it was just his nose cone. He would have been okay. They can replace everything in the nose cone, but that tire suspension being broken, he's probably going to be done for the day. I think Lee Kane got away with one. I think he's going to be able to rejoin with minimal damage.
Let's watch here. And actually, we want to go...
yeah, a whole 2 corners ahead.
Yeah, a whole 2 corners ahead here. Again, learning the new setup here. But what we'll do is we'll get into the roll bar here of of Lee. He's back there in the draft. That is Silvazzi going underneath him. That is Fortune in front of him, as we were just calling out Fortune there, running in the 7-Eleven car. A couple throwback liveries going on here. So he is up high. The high line is the kind of the fastest way to go around here, and no matter what car you're in, really, other than the IR05 probably. But there he goes, cuts down. But if you look in front of him, he has aero wash to the very bottom, aero wash to the lane up, aero wash directly in front of him, and aero wash higher than him. So here he comes.
What really does it. Yep, he's going to get cut off here, and I think that last little piece of wash pushed him up into the wall.
Yeah,
and then he came down the track.
Yep, and that was pretty good contact with the right front. So let's see if that is something that can get replaced or fixed for him, keep him in the race. But back to live TV on pit road. We will get the who is stopping here. Everyone back from Denench on back is stopping here, including Julian. Edson Santos on pit road. Julian Altena on pit road. Alec Vandenbosch on pit road. Lee Kane with the extended stop. Bart Firestein, he is on pit road as well. I don't think he was involved with the incident. Hugo Gallas looks like he popped in and out of his car, but no rush to get off pit road. Of course, under caution. And really, if you're, as long as you're in the draft, you're really not too far from the lead at all on this racetrack. Looks like Bart exited and came back in, so it looks like he might be having connection issues. Now, already a little bit distance into this race, and we're down to 17 cars.
Yeah, Lee Kane's still sitting in his pit box, so he must have some right front suspension damage that is fixable, I would assume. But his toe will probably be knocked out. Yep, and there he goes. He's off pit road now.
Yep. So let's go ahead and reset the field here. It's Tristan Fortin is your leader. O'Sullivan P2. Bleibel is P3. Weber is P4. Strauss P5. Kinder P6. Christensen P7. Fortune P8. Boney P9. And we have two Fortunes here. We have Joshua Fortune and Michael Fortune. I would assume that they're brothers. I'm just guessing. But there is Michael back there in the 7-Eleven car, and then Joshua a little bit further up in the Fair Life car. Kind of reminds me of something that Team Penske had. I'm not sure if that exactly is a Team Penske livery, but very close to. I think one I recall them having once before.
Harry, you want the number? Because it's close.
What is it? What is the number?
If you can get 5 miles per gallon every lap for the rest of the race, you will only have to stop one time. Oof. And you will run out coming to the line out of turn 4.
Oof. And that's with the 85% fuel?
Oh, no. Shucks. It's a 2-stopper. I'm sorry, I've lied.
It's all right. That's all right. We are going to go one more lap under caution here, I believe, as the field is getting reset. Let's see who all stopped. We just want to remind everyone who stopped here. And there are the track conditions you do see right there underneath the bugs in the upper right corner. 103 track temperature, 75 ambient. Dan Inch is the first car on the track that stopped in 13th. Edson Santos is in 14th. Looks like some guys have come down one more time to top off the fuel tank, including Dan Inch. So a lot of those guys in the back came back one more time just to kind of get a couple extra precious drops of fuel. You don't need to change tires at this point in the race, other than maybe Kane and Silvazzi might want to because of the contact. But these guys are going to go top off the tank. Well, what's that? We have a spin?
No, for Kane, because he spun. His tires might be hot, right?
Yeah, his tires are going to be well spent here. Look up front here. Lights are off on the pace car. There are 3 IndyCar-related track records here at Michigan. Of course, USAC kart and IRL. IndyCar ran here. USAC track record, Tom Sneva, set back in 78 with a speed of 211.392. Remember, that's a speed. That's July of 1978. 211.392 here at Michigan. Paul Tracy holds the overall track record with a 234.9 set in 2000. The IndyCar IRL track record set by Thomas Scheckter in 2003 with a speed of 222.4. We'll get down to the career wins leaders here in a little bit, but it's time to go back to racing green here on the high banks of the Irish Hills here in Michigan, getting ready to go for lap 10 of 100.
Portson got a really big jump at the initial start of the race. We'll see if he tries the same thing here, so he and O'Sullivan continue to leapfrog the draft to pull away from the field.
Seb Kinder flashing in the back there, but he is underway. Fortune underneath Monty further on back. And we're green. And Liam wasting no time whatsoever.
It's beneficial for them to do so. They need to be swapping like that every corner, into 1 and into 3. You'll gain a tenth and a half on the rest of the cars of the field.
Pedro right there with them. Jonas Weber P4. John Christensen, and we'll give him a shout out here, back in 7th, coming off his first career VOR IndyCar, anything IndyCar, VOR IndyCar, first career victory at Indianapolis last week on Easter Sunday in the IR05 series. He has moved up 4 spots. Michael Fortune back there in the green 711 car. He is up 4 spots as well. Hunter Bogdan in the 10th spot right there in the plain black wrapper. He is up 6 spots. Leighton Furness right there with him. Layson is in the plain white wrapper as well. A little bit of sponsorship on the side. He has moved up to 12th, up 6 spots as well. Ooh, car way up in the gray.
That's just a Kyle Larson line.
Yeah.
It works. It's fun.
And during the Monday or the Tuesday night Indy Fix broadcast, someone had Larson's livery. I think that he's going to be running for the Brickyard, for the not Brickyard, but the Indy 500. And for whatever reason, his name totally escaped me, and I'm like, that NASCAR driver. I don't know why. I'm not a NASCAR fan, so I don't really keep up on all the names and commit them to utter memory. But you think maybe you should remember Kyle Larson, but I was like, that NASCAR guy. and you hear Antonio go, that NASCAR guy. Oh, car in the wall.
Oh, another one.
Hunter
That
Bogdan.
was, Hunter Bogdan.
He saved it.
He's got side pod damage, so he'll have to be in the draft to keep up from here on out.
Yeah.
And he's going to be really slow, really hard to turn that car through the corners. Every centimeter of yaw or angle of the side pod is like
boom,
engineered to make the car go fast. And as soon as you move it just a little bit, slows everything down.
Let's watch this one more time from...
Good job keeping the car straight.
This point of view. Here comes. Turning the
Same
wheel,
thing.
turning the wheel, turning the wheel, turning the
wash
wheel,
from
and
the
the wheel would
part.
not turn anymore. And now he's fighting it to keep it straight. But that was a good lick. That was a good lick.
Safe to say he has found the center of the Tootsie Pop.
Fortson and O'Sullivan continue to swap the lead at the front. They
And it's
have,
paying dividends.
yeah, it
They're
has
second
paid.
and
Well, they're
third.
racing pretty hard behind them, but they've worked up a 1.4 second lead now over Weber. Weber is racing Bleibel back there. Kinder's involved in that as well as Strauss, and now Christensen's part of that. But they've broken away from 8th place. Bonnie leads a third pack back there in 8th place. He's 1.7 seconds behind this other group. And Christensen, there it is, right there. Julian is up in this. He's worked his way up now to 11th. He's 8 spots up.
45% of the way done. He'll get there.
He'll get there, yeah. Now, Julian and I have had some pretty good, we've been teammates before in other leagues. It was another DW12 league which called itself more of a beer league. And that's really an insult to beer. It was that bad. But Julie and I, yeah, we started at the rear. We did the worst to first challenge, and the only way they could stop both of us if they wrecked us, and that's exactly what they did. But Julian and I were, I think, 3 laps before the end. Julian was fighting for the lead, and then just as we get to the white flag, I took the lead, and I was. It took me 4 wide down the backstretch, and someone side-checked me into the wall, and that was the only way they could stop Julian and I if they wrecked us.
Might be the only way they can stop Fortson and O'Sullivan. Hope a lapper gets in the way or something there.
Yeah, I hope not. I hate to see the less than beer league standards here again. It's Treston Fort there, and the Treston Forson, excuse me, in the Team Tracks car, and right behind him is Liam O'Sullivan.
Would you call that lavender, Gary, or would you call that something else?
On what car?
On Fortson's car.
Fortson? That is... I don't know. That does have some pink hues to it. Maybe lavender? Yeah. I mean, it works.
Soft midnight plum.
Yeah, I'm more... If you're going to go purple on your car, I'm more of a... what you see Buddy Lazier have, more of a royal purple. I think that looked real good on these cars, and then along with the he had that fluorescent trim on his car, that looked good. But not a lot of white cars out there. Not a lot of white cars out there.
I think that...
Go ahead.
Sorry, I thought Fortson and O'Sullivan, they've missed a couple of swaps, and now O'Sullivan's probably burned up or heated up his tires trying to get back to Fortson, and they're not going to be able to swap for 3 or 4 laps here minimum, and that's if O'Sullivan can get back up to Fortson. This could be the opportunity the second pack needs to catch back up if they work together. Oh,
wow. Listen to this. We're riding with O'Sullivan right now, and he was footing it through the...
Lift.
Yeah, he did lift.
I had run a couple of laps by myself, and I saw that the race package was just as fast as the qualifying package. And it made me think that dirty air was going to play a huge part in this race, and it looks like it has. You can't keep your foot to the floor. You've got to be very tactful with how you put the car in the corner relative to the cars in front of you.
He lost 2/10 on that lap. He lost 2/10 on that lap. He went to the bottom that time.
Yeah, the draft envelope's not big enough to where he's going to get a big toe down the back on Fortson. He is not going to catch up by himself.
He is hunting for a gear right now to keep in this battle. And there you see Liam's I rating, a 3,400. No slouch. Safety rating, 3.40. Oh, he's getting down to the yellow line. Wow. But he's losing. He's lost another 2/10.
And not being able to control your line, I honestly think that the second line, or diming from the third to the second line, is faster than the bottom here. Just because you hold up the momentum for the straightaways, and if there's no draft, you're going to hold 1 or 2 or even 1/10 of a mile an hour down the straightaway for this long of time. Builds up the lead that you're seeing the Fortson's walking away with. Yeah,
look, Fortson now a second ahead. Then O'Sullivan, then Seb Kinder, who has worked his way up to third. Let's pop back there to Seb. There's Seb. Seb in a very similar situation. Let's listen to him. Not going to the bottom here in 3 and 4. You don't hear the car binding as much. He's not shifting gears. But he's staying in 5th.
He's gaining time on O'Sullivan.
Down to the bottom of the right there. Car binds a little bit, not much. I exit. Starting to reel in O'Sullivan just a little bit. 1.2 seconds now to him. Big gain off the corner. Picked up 500ths there. Not making much ground on the straights a little bit. He's making all the ground up in the turns. Look at that. Down now. Didn't hit that turn right. Just lost all he gained. And he got a bad exit off the corner. You see O'Sullivan starting to pull away a little bit on the straights. 5/10, 6/10, or 500, 600ths. Which might as well be tenths when you talk about how close these are time-wise.
I think pit stops might determine this race, especially if we get green flag pit stops. Your pit road entry and pit road exit can be up to 2 seconds faster than the guy in front of you. That would put O'Sullivan half a second in front of Fortson, and then if he blocks or aero blocks Fortson, it's the same situation. He'll have the hot, used tires, and O'Sullivan will be able to dictate the pace of the race. And those should be coming up here in the next 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah, that's for sure. With a regular IR18 with 18 gallons, you're looking at about 40-ish laps. More like 35 to 38 laps. And really, Fortson is the one that's, I tell you what now, since he's broken away, he's not getting great mileage, and neither is O'Sullivan for that matter at this point. Seb Kinder not getting good mileage. Jonas Weber, on the other hand, is.
Yeah, and Leibel is as well. He's been up someone's rear end the entire run. He and Fortune, I believe.
Well, the VOR cars, all the Altena Autosport cars have linked up. Christensen, Bleibel, and Altena have all linked up. Go back up to the front here. And Fortson is your leader by 1.72 seconds. He has pulled away and has broken the draft envelope back to O'Sullivan. There's O'Sullivan right there. Seb Kinder is in third. Thea Strauss now using the high side. Woo! And he has worked his way to fourth. Pushing Weber back to fifth. That's a battle of teammates. Remember, boys, rule 1 about racing your teammate. You remember the rules of racing your teammate?
Yeah, rule 1, don't wreck your teammate. Rule 2, see rule 1.
There you go. And right there, just as I mentioned it, I think Weber might have hit the wall.
I think they forgot the first 2 rules, Gary.
Well, at least he didn't wreck his teammate there, but he definitely did try to wreck himself. Weber trying to recover.
So I think it was the same thing as before. It was just that third car in line in front of you, coming up in front, taking that little precious bit of clean air you have, being a lane and a half or a quarter lane higher than the car in front of you. When that air goes away, every inch or every degree of wheel you have left, pulling left to get the car to come off of turn 2, just doesn't matter. You can have the wheel cranked all the way and the car will just push right up into the wall. It really feels like you have a flat tire sometimes when the air gets taken away from you on corner exit like that.
And Fortson, our leader, is on pit road along with O'Sullivan. So Sullivan taking the cue. Oh, and Fortson missed his stall. So this is going to be tight coming off of pit road. Let's keep the cameras here. Getting down and away here. And that's going to cost Fortson, as I think O'Sullivan got the edge and will get the position.
Now, I would be interested to see if he plays nice here. They had a big lead, so that doesn't mean they do not need to aero swap, right? They don't need to leapfrog. So what he could do is he can aero block Fortson this entire run, and he'll have the best tires and the most clean air. That is, if he doesn't get swallowed up by traffic.
Well, that's his teammate underneath him, so I would hope that his teammate, that's Strauss, gives him, and Strauss hitting pit road, gives him a little room. But two of the Altena Autosports VOR entries get around. Now Julian is your leader. There's Julian right there. They both got around Fortson. So now Fortson has to kind of deal with a little extra traffic than he wanted to. Pedro looking low. That's actually Christensen there. I think that's Christensen looking low. Christensen hitting pit road.
Look at the difference tires make. You can just follow in someone's wake, get the run, and pull down and pass them on command. Tires are super important. So if we see any cautions for cause from this point out, I would assume every driver will bolt on a fresh set every time we see a caution from here to the end.
Yeah, I think the undercut's going to be powerful here. And Fortune's trying to get a little extra mileage off of Julian. Might not be a bad idea. But in terms of his distance up to O'Sullivan, let's get on O'Sullivan here. O'Sullivan is a little up the road a piece. 1.5 seconds.
Yep. And that's so it's only 1.5 seconds, but it's so long because you go so fast.
Well, and that's basically what all that time was lost on pit road. I mean, it took him about a second and a half, which doesn't seem like a lot of time to get back to his marks to allow the pit stop to begin.
Yeah, and O'Sullivan had closed the gap even coming into pit road. He was almost 2 seconds behind Fortson coming to pit road. He was on his back bumper when they got to the pit stalls where Fortson overshot his and then overtook him because of it. Really well executed green flag cycle there for O'Sullivan. Anyway.
And Julian is still the leader. Now remember, a lot of these guys that are staying out here, Julian pitted on 9, Edson on 7, Gallas on 9, Inch on 9. So all these guys in the top 4, they all stayed out a little bit longer and topped off during that first caution, or was it the second caution? Can't remember. I think we've only had one caution. They all double dipped on that first caution, I believe.
Yeah, Keynes was the only one that was a caution. We had another car in the wall, but he kept it straight. That was Hunter Bogger.
Car to the inside down the backstretch, and that is Bart. And Bart's having a hard time there. I think he's just going to punch out. Yeah, he's just going to punch out there.
It's caused yellow to come out on the racetrack.
Oh, wow. And that's exactly what Julian wanted. Because a good chunk of these leaders of the field is going to be caught a lap down. Now, it all depends. They're going to all get the wave around here. Julian's going to have to stop. All these other ones stopped, and he'll have to go to the back. But this is good for him.
I think he'll cycle out third, more or less, because O'Sullivan and Fortson were ahead of him on track, basically the tail end of the lead lap, versus everyone else is either on the same strategy as him or a lap down after making their green flag pit stop. So when the wave arounds pit, they will be behind Julian.
So here we go. We got Altena, Santos, Gallas, and Inch. All three of those guys have yet to stop. Inch in the yellow Altena Auto Sports car. I like it. Kind of got the killer bee instinct there. Hugo Gallas also yet to stop. Edson Santos and that Leaner Energy livery yet to stop. Julian on pit road. Bonnie on pit road. So that's going to be a penalty on him, I think. Because I don't think pit road was open to him. And I don't think pit road is open to Fortson either. I could be wrong. And as O'Sullivan, Julian's down the way. He's out. Or was pit road open to Fortson and O'Sullivan? Oh, O'Sullivan missed his marks this time. Okay, I'm kind of confused on who pit road might have been available to.
Well, we'll see if they get any end-of-line penalties or pass-throughs, but sometimes iRacing opens it to everyone just to consolidate the caution laps by one. I think that is a setting you can select.
Okay, well, we'll see. Julian then comes out still as your leader then. I think we're still going to cycle through here. We'll see. We'll see how we cycle through.
Well, yeah, Fortson and O'Sullivan were on the lead lap, so
okay.
It was definitely open for them, and they chose to come in, and they both got tires and fuel, so they're down a set of tires compared to Julian. So if we get a late race caution,
right, and they were only 9 laps on that second stint, so they part-time tires there.
And one thing iRacing does not let you do is put on scuffs that you've used earlier.
Yeah, that would be a nice option to have in the future. Real Racing does allow that, but that would be a nice option to have because those guys then could stack them put them back on the pile and maybe use them for the next stint or whatever. Just have an extra set there or something. So okay, so all these cars behind the pace car. So all these cars behind the pace car will get the wave around. And I think you hear them getting the wave around right now.
And they're doing so gingerly and slowly to save fuel. They're not doing it because they're lazy. They're doing it because it's more fuel efficient.
Yeah. I mean, they got a lap. They got to get back up. So they'll probably rejoin these guys when they're in either on the backstretch or turn 2. So let's see who is, Weber is one of the first ones to get the wave around. We see him quickly. He's at 200 miles an hour trying to...
He's going too fast, in my opinion.
Josh Fortune did the same thing. Yeah, all of them are really smoking. Michael Fortune here sitting doing 223 at one point to recapture the back of the group. And better slow down. These brakes on, for at least how they are in sim, the brakes on these cars on super speedways are not, they do not have the bite as they would on a road course car. And we also see Bart Firestone back in the lineup, but running down low on the apron. I think he's just going to let everyone on by in that.
I believe he has to. I think he has
Weldon throwback
end of the line.
Okay,
exiting a closed pit.
86 goes low as well. That's Hunter Bogdan. So he's going to let everyone go by. So Julian is your leader. Boney is a lap down, but second car on the racetrack. Hugo Gallas is actually second in the running order right there. And Edson Santos is third in the order, and Liam O'Sullivan is fourth in the order. Dan Inch is fifth, and our early leader, Tristan Fortin, is now back in sixth in a battle with Strauss and the teammates Strauss and Weber.
He's got to be careful. Those left sides dipped below the yellow line, and you know what we say? Apron,
bad. Checking chat here. Who is Grosjean? Well, I guess the closest person to Grosjean in the lineup is Seb Kinder. He's French. There he is. He's
got the fire on the side of his car, too.
He has fire on his car instead of in his car. That's not nice, Gary. But we do not see Seb Kinder wreck as often as we saw Grosjean wreck. Hey, all fairness though, 3 wide going into 1 right here. Watch this, boys. Careful. Gonna run out of room up there on the high side. Everybody through with manners.
Yeah, with the fresh tires, the cars that are on the bottom will hold the bottom better, so it's less likely that you'll get that aero wash on corner exit.
Now, people might want to knock Roman in IndyCar and even Formula One, but I think having Romain Grosjean in IndyCar is good for IndyCar. And I really don't want to see him. Oh, Leighton Furnace really ran up on the back of Fortune there. Gets up in the gray. Woo! Pedro kind of wondering where to go on this one. But I think having Grosjean in IndyCar in the NTT IndyCar Series is a good thing for IndyCar, really. I do. I think he brings a lot of eyeballs to the sport and to the series, and that's what we want to see. And I hope he does well in the Yukos Hollinger team there.
Oh, sorry, did he move teams? I'm not up to speed.
Yeah, he's teammates with Canapino, who we've now seen getting into some of the iRacing events on the Monday Open split.
Yeah, it legitimizes the drivers. It legitimizes the sport, right? Especially everyone who might be looking at the North American open wheel circuit and comparing it to the international one.
Yeah.
It is very much a different series, right? We have a different type of chassis from one supplier versus teams that build their own. And while the racing may look similar and sound similar, it's a different breed. You know, more street circuits, more, I don't want to say competitive, but definitely
more
track
parity.
position matters.
More parity. Yeah, I say it's more parity that what's going on. We're cautioned. So something happened on the racetrack. Not sure what happened.
That is a busted side pod.
Yeah. So we see Josh Fortune coming off pit road. I'm not sure if that was him or not. If you see who do you have for a busted side pod?
It was the yellow and black car.
Okay, Alec Vandenbosch then. So let's do. There he is. Okay, so there's a car spinning down the backstretch. Not sure who that is.
Break the golden rule.
That's Leighton Furnace, I think. Yeah. So let's see what happened to him.
I wonder if he tried that high line again, because even when he got out of shape, he had a good run coming off the corner. It looks like it's going to be an aero wash incident again, if I had to bet.
And we'll ride in. Yeah, he's really turning that wheel, and yeah, that boom, there it is, and he's now sideways and everything down the backstretch.
That doesn't explain how Vandenbosch had a broken side pod.
All right, so we're under caution. And we see a lot of those guys towards the rear of the field hitting pit road right now, including Hugo Gallas. Julian Altena stays out. So we got a number of guys now who are executing a second strategy than everyone else.
Barry, I'm blind. I went back and looked at the replay.
I'm not sure what happened either.
Broken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the IndyCar career.
It's not broken. I just saw it wrong.
So the IndyCar career wins leaders here at Michigan, and for a while here at Michigan, IndyCar kart USAC would have 2 races a year, and then for the longest time they were only just 200 milers like we're having today. It wasn't until Ontario came off the schedule and they established a 500 miler here at Michigan. But the career wins leaders are Johnny Rutherford. Lone Star JR has 4 wins here. 3 on the shorter distance, but 1 classic 500 miler in '86, his last IndyCar win. Gordon Johncock has 4 wins here. 3 of the shorter variety and 1 of the 500 mile variety in '82. So he won the Indy 500 in '82 and won the Michigan 500 in '82. Had a chance for the Triple Crown, did not win, of course, Pocono. That was Rick Mears. Rick Mears kind of got Rick Mears' revenge after that close finish at Indianapolis in '82 to get that win. But we're back green with Altena, Santos, and Sullivan taking off. And Santos and Sullivan are racing back there for P2, and Julian is trying to disappear into the distance.
He doesn't have to get far, and when you have 2 cars trying to work together behind you, all you have to do is block the car with the run, and then they don't go anywhere, because the way they gain speed or gain time on you is by being in your draft envelope in a different line or by leapfrogging. And if you block the car that has to run with a leapfrog, you kill their momentum on corner exit, and it makes it very hard for them to catch you. But it looks like Santos has.
Yep, Santos actually moving to the front, went ahead and caught that group right away. And watching O'Sullivan, Strauss, Fortson, Inch, and Weber, they're all in a group here. Here comes Fortson, not wanting to waste any time. He likes his car on the low side of the racetrack. He is by Strauss.
Yeah, but it is intentional. I believe he'll let Strauss by so they can work together to try to catch up.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, they're going to have to. Because I think Santos, I think Santos and Altena are smart enough to do the same as well.
See, if you are O'Sullivan, you're in a bit of a pickle. You know, on the first run, your tires got killed following people in the wake. So what line do you run here to keep your tires, cool and keep them fresh for later?
Well, I think
they aren't.
Yeah, right there. If he's going to run the low side, that's not going to work well on his tires. He needs to stay high and keep those runs up. But if there's going to be a car up high, like there kind of is right there with Santos, we've seen all the wrecks so far happen coming off of 2, and they've all been aero wash. So maybe he's trying to be cognizant of that. Yeah, they're pulling away this first group. 1.14 back to Fortson in 4th.
And that's from the rear bumper of O'Sullivan. That's not from the leader. So they have an extra quarter of a second on top of that.
Yeah. And here is what it looks like from the gearbox of O'Sullivan there. Right underneath the attenuator. I tell you what, Fortson is kind of starting to break away a little bit from Strauss.
He's got the heavy foot and the light hands today, Gary. He's a monster. If he gets out in clean air, he runs away from everyone. So
now Strauss got the run back. Yeah, Strauss got the run down on the front stretch there, gets the position back.
Well, no, you see how much they made up a car length and a half on O'Sullivan. So they are trying to hunt down this lead pack. It may look like they're racing for position, but they're actually working together.
Look at the run. Look at the run that this draft provides here. Strauss leaving not a lot of room between the rear tire and his front wing, but he clears.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fortson mistimed it.
Yeah, I saw that too. The draft really sucked him up into that, and by the time he was ready to make a decision on what to do and where to go, he was already there.
Better executed this time.
An Inch there in the black and yellow. So we got 2 black and yellow Altena Auto Sports cars. Vanden Bosch was kind of in more of a burnt yellow. This is kind of more of a brighter yellow. But those two working ahead of Inch are starting to inch away from Inch here just a little bit.
Yeah, it seems to be very difficult to be the third car in line. I'm going to give major props here to O'Sullivan, who seemed to hang on and now is mixing it up with Santos and Altena.
Yeah, he made the key move to get around Santos. Santos really wants that back. He goes ahead and he just sends it. We saw he maybe didn't realize he was sending it that quickly because he had a bit of an odd entry into 3 there. That's fine. 62 of 100. We still have another stop to go. All these guys up at the front other than Weber in 7th, and we'll get the camera on him just momentarily. There's Weber. He's by himself now. Weber pitted on lap 35. Everyone in the top 6 pitted last on lap 43. So they're going to have to stop again. They took a wave around?
Yeah, Weber did. That's why he's got that deficiency on the fuel count.
Okay. Top 3 have now pulled away 1.4 over Fortson.
But they're not working together. So if the second group do continue to work together, they will catch them.
If you're just joining us, RaceVerse coverage of round 1 of season 2 of the VOR DW12 ICONIC Series. Little afternoon, we'll be doing Friday matinees for the next couple weeks here. In fact, we'll bring the schedule up on the screen just really quick here. Here is your schedule for the series. Michigan, then Gateway, Texas. Then we're going to go to Daytona in the beginning of May, Indianapolis, and then Auto Club to finish out the season. We'll check out that schedule later in the broadcast. But that is your schedule for this second season. Don't forget, if you have not done so already, make sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. We certainly would appreciate that. And we realize about half of you, according to analytics, are not subscribers already that are watching this. So all you need to do is turn that red button gray for us, if you will, and be a subscriber. If you don't want to do that, at the very least, give us a thumbs up, would you?
The YouTube game isn't easy, man.
No, the algorithm game is a hard one. We try playing it. Julian pulling away a little bit by 0.4.
And making it look easy.
Kind of what we saw a little bit with Fortson earlier. Fortson and Strauss are racing side by side there, going into one.
Hey, and I want to give a shout out to the people in the chat. They've been pretty active today. Looking forward to Daytona there. I'm glad that they're all joining us here to watch the race here this Friday afternoon or evening if you're out in Europe.
Yeah, IndyCar is at Daytona. We're going to show you when we run there. There's a reason why IndyCar doesn't go there for real. IndyCar could probably race on the sports car course. And in fact, they have used portions of the sports car course for spring training before for a couple years. I think it was 2007 and 2008. Watching Fortson and Strauss side by side. IndyCars have visited Daytona on the big oval once in their history. USAC back in the Champ Car Series back in '59. They raced there one time. There was a fatality in that race. And IndyCar said that they would not, or not IndyCar, but USAC said that they would not come back for a promised second race. Fortson and Strauss, man. You guys might want to take each other to dinner if you're going to initiate that level of contact first. Woof.
Just a hug, Gary. You can hug someone on a first date.
Goodness. Good, and that allowed Inch into the battle now.
And it probably, if this race goes green, it probably lost them the race. They will not gain any ground on the leaders if they continue to race this hard. So, I mean, they're racing for fourth, right? Which they have every right to do. But you're fighting each other instead of working together to try to win.
So the story behind that second USAC date at Daytona, Inch close to the wall. He pulls out down low in the backstretch to get away from it, but he has Weber right behind him. That second date since George, was it France Senior? Was it
Bill France?
Bill France, yeah, Big Bill. Since he had a second date and was actually selling tickets for it already, didn't know what to do, so he decided to have a stock car race in that date instead, which happened to be over July 4th weekend. And so thanks to IndyCar, the birth of the Firecracker 400 was made. There you go, a little bit of history. I don't know if you knew that. I bet you a lot of people at home didn't know that.
I did not know that.
There was a driver, a couple fathers of drivers in that race. Elmer George. That name might not sound familiar, but that is Tony George's dad and Ed Carpenter's granddad. So that is the tie-in there. And Boris Said's dad actually tried to qualify for that race in the USAC Champ Car Series.
Tried to? So did he DNQ?
I think he DNQ'd. There were actually some DNQs back in the day. Now when you barely see 27 IndyCar, well, that's still a lot, though. In modern IndyCar race, when 27 show up, that's pretty good. But back in the kind of the lower popularity days of the early days of the IR. That is, I'm not sure who that is. That's, is that Blind Belt? No, that is, that's a lap down car. That's Joshua Fortune, excuse me. He hit the wall right there. He's kind of in that, that car reminds me of the HP DW12, sponsored DW12 that I think Pagano drove a couple times for Team Penske. That's what that paint job reminds me of. But yeah, there were more than more cars showed up than there were spots available. And that was quite frequent back in those days. To the races. Nowadays, you got 27 cars in the series. 27 cars is what you're going to see at the race, unless it's Indianapolis. Of course, they'll show extras. Here comes Treston into pit road for his final stop. Also on that is Liam O'Sullivan. So these are final stops to get to the end. Julian Altena is your leader. Edson Santos right there behind him. He is now 2.3 seconds behind Julian. So Julian has broke the draft envelope. Strauss is third. Inch is fourth.
So Julian went long on the first stop to get the lead, and I would expect him to not do the same here. I think he'll probably be in the next 2 or 3 laps, and we'll keep an eye on his interval relative to O'Sullivan. It was about 2.4, 2.5 before he came in. O'Sullivan anyway. So if O'Sullivan got onto pit road faster or off of pit road faster, we'll see that decrease. But now that a couple laps have gone by, the fresh tires will also eat into that lead.
Well, maybe, not to interrupt your strategy, but maybe Julian stops now because it'll be a shorter fill, and he could get out ahead of everyone.
I mean, he had such a large lead, he can kind of choose to do whatever he thinks is best, right? He has a cushion to work with. He doesn't have to gamble. So, I mean, if he wants to stay out and fill shorter, he could even stay out long enough to where he may not need to take tires, right? I mean, tires are faster, but 4 seconds waiting for your tires to get bolted on might be slower.
Okay, so Liam O'Sullivan is 7th, and he is good to go to the end. He is a lap down, though.
Mr. Furness is in the chat saying that he was disqualified, sadly.
Oh. We'll have to check the rule set and see what the incident count possibly would have been.
Because he did spin once, but don't think that one spin would kick you out.
Here's Strauss on pit road. We have Julian on pit road. Dan Inch picks up the lead. Seb Kinder now P2. Hugo Gallas still out there turning laps. He is now P3. Julian is out behind Gallas. Here comes Edson Santos. Here comes Liam O'Sullivan on full steam, full head of steam right here. Is he going to get Julian? I don't think he is.
He's not going to get there, but he's made up more than a second. He was at 2.5. Now he's at 1.4. Unfortunately, you have to be within a second to get the draft. So right now he'll be experiencing dirty air in the corners and no suck up on the straights.
That's one of these things that I wish that they... Now, I will give iRacing credit. They did update the damage model of these cars, so they now act differently. They shed parts when they get into incidents, hit the wall, hit each other, which is nice because these are legacy cars. We don't expect them to do any more dev work on them, but I wish... There's 2 things I wish that they would do with these cars. They would give the same draft envelope or bigger envelope, because I think these things punch a bigger hole in the air than the IR18, but at least give a draft envelope that's equal to what the IR18 is, which is about 1.5 seconds. And then the other thing I wish they would do is enable the tools for a fixed setup race. This is a fixed setup race. The tools that you would normally see available to a driver in a fixed IR18 race, the weight jacker and the front and rear anti-roll bars, are not available to these drivers. So what they're using to get around this place in traffic is their hands and their left and right foot. Little less of the left foot, though. Not hitting the brake necessarily. 80 of 20,
or
80 of
right?
Yes, of course. 80 of 100, 20 laps to go. Seb Kinder is your leader. He's mixed up in this group up here with Hugo Gallas down low. These two guys last pitted on lap 52 with some caution in there, and if they had some caution and they've been with traffic all race long here in the second pack, maybe getting an extended run, could we be looking at a one-stopper from these two? I don't know if it's possible.
Oh, absolutely.
Is it possible?
It absolutely is. Yeah, if you pit right now, I mean, I think Julian's going to make it to the end. So they're not going to make it to the end, but they might come in for a splash of gas in the next 5 to 7 laps, I would say. Get 6 to 8 gallons, and that'll get you to the end.
There is Seb Kinder, Team Watson Racing. Hugo Gallas with the Backfire Motorsports, and both of them are coming to pit road. Whoa! Seb just cut right across Gallas' front wing there, but both make it work getting onto pit road, so that will turn the lead back over to Julian, who is on the just now entering 3. There you see the blue car. Down to the white, about a lane off the bottom there from the yellow line, coming down the front stretch. He will get back the lead. Liam O'Sullivan, a distance 1.4 seconds, give or take. Santos in third now. Weber in fourth. Christensen and who's he racing with? Fortson? Fortson almost into the wall. Oh, he was into the wall. I think he double tapped it. Hopefully that double tap doesn't kill his car. Watching Fortson there. Seeing some possible damage on his left front ad blocker there. Definitely damage on his right front ad blocker. That's that little fin that sticks out right before the side pod. We call it the ad blocker because it typically blocks your sponsor on the side. So we call it the ad blocker. But I believe he's sporting a little damage there. Yeah, it looks like it. Looks like scuffed up. That really interrupted Pedro. Pedro had to really roll out of that. He was right up on that battle, and he had to give a little room. He is now in 7th. If you're just joining us, make sure to smash the like button there for us. Subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so already to future RaceVerse iRacing programming. Next race on the schedule will be this Sunday. We will be on DW12s again. We'll be with the Dark Horse DW12 Series at Homestead.
Tenno's flirting with the wall even.
Yeah, I saw a little squirreliness coming there on corner exit.
He doesn't even need to push. He can just cruise the victory.
1.8 seconds now, 1.9 seconds over O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan just having trouble with the dirty air in the corners.
Yeah, I think your eyes get bigger than your dinner plate. You see the guy in front of you, you push as hard as you can to try to catch them and get into the draft envelope, and you just overheat your tires and you overexert your equipment, and it really, really hurts you on the long run. The car with clean air will begin to walk away, and your hopes and dreams of being the one in victory lane slip away with every lap. You see the interval grow by a tenth and a half.
Tomorrow night, 3 p.m., thereabouts on FTN. Check them out on YouTube, FTN. That's the channel. I just do a search on FTN iRacing. They are the channel that's covering the VOR IR18 series. I will be on color commentary with them. VOR IR18 series tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. They will be doing Imola. And then, of course, we will be back here on RaceVerse on Sunday at 8 p.m. with the Dark Horse DW12 Series. Monday, after we watch the eclipse here in central Indiana, at 9:35 p.m. Will be the ISRA Truck Series at Dover. And then our signature broadcast on Tuesday, April 9th, will be the 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time IndyCar Oval Series Top Split at Nashville. Clindy, you're going to be in that. What are your thoughts on Nashville? That is one hard track.
Yeah, I've been practicing qualifying every night when I have free time, because where you start is where you're going to finish, unless something bad happens to people in front of you or you mess up on pit road.
And new thing
the
too,
air is way worse than here.
Yeah. I remember when that first came out, I was like, sweet, a new super speedway. IndyCar's been there, something that we're going to race IndyCars on, new oval. And I remember getting on that track, and I'm like, this isn't fun. This is not fun at all.
Yeah, it is a super speedway in name only.
Yeah.
You go fast, but you can't go faster than the guy in front of you because there's only 1 1/4 lane in the turns.
You see one of the new
what
things.
I wish...
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go right ahead.
I was going to say, I wish it... Yeah, when NASCAR went there the first time, they put resin down in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th groove, and it really helped improve the product. And I know that the PJ1 at Texas is kind of a disaster for the
car in the
IndyCar.
wall.
Yeah.
That was
No,
who's
it
ever
had
on the
inch.
inside of Pedro? Maybe Weber? Yeah, that was Weber. Oh, guys! Oh, so close. You got to be cognizant of netcode at all times with these cars.
I was about to say the netcode gods have been very generous today. There's been 2 or 3 of those that just went
Christensen up to 4th. Good run for him.
Picking them off one at a time. Set them up and knock them down. That's how you do it.
But I wanted to mention after your report on Nashville there, we have one of the things on our overlay. It says the driver's I rating and their license and their safety rating. Edson Santos there, a 5K I rating with a safety rating of 4.99. So there's one guy that you can, other than worrying about netcode, you can probably race hard against and come out smelling reasonably well on the other side. Of course, when we got Liam O'Sullivan up there, he has himself a 3K with the 340, and Julian there with a 3K with the 431. So some real iRacing pros here at the top of the field. 93 laps coming to 94, 7 to go here at Michigan.
Yeah, I've never had an issue racing with Edson. We have similar I ratings. I have a much worse safety rating than him. If you watch Tuesday night, you'll know why. I'm impatient and I like to push the envelope. I love strategy and talking about it in the booth, but when I'm in the cockpit, I strap in and I look for every millimeter I can take.
Well, unlike him though, you got your solo in that he didn't get in on Tuesday night. So, and I'm talking solo, your solo flight. Let's say a lot of cars went airborne.
Oh yeah.
Telling people on the on chat here that I was joking with you earlier in the week that we needed to create a NASA patch for all those that went into space, and there was a number of cars that went straight up after big wrecks there at the top split last week at where were we? Fontana.
Auto Club.
Yeah, Auto Club.
You used to call it Auto Club, right?
Yeah, I call it California Speedway because I refuse to call it Auto Club. That's the first leg of the RaceVerse Triple Crown. We're trying to.
That's why I was pushing, Gary. I was trying so hard to break up those.
And now we can only have one winner of the Triple Crown, and that's Robert Malechka, which is probably a good chance.
He's won all of them this year, so if I can beat him one time this year, even if it's Tuesday night or any time, I'll be very happy. And I haven't yet, so we'll see.
Fortson in a battle back here in the back portion of the top 10. Weber, Fortson, Inch, and now Strauss 2x2 coming off the turn 4 corner here, getting in the single file line. 4 laps to go for Julian, 8 more miles.
Typically, Altena would love to see his competition racing, which means they're not gaining time, but not with this. Oh, I guess the race would end under caution at this point. But if they were to wad them up 2 or 3 laps ago, that would really put a monkey wrench into his plan.
Christensen pulling away from that group, looking to solidify a top 5 for him. A great day for the if we were to get the checkered flag right this very second for the Altena Autosport squad. 3 cars in the top 5.
Don't cut out Fortson. I think he's driving really hungry, knowing what he could have had today, dominating early. I think he's really pushing to get up into the top 5. They're mixing it up. Look at them go. I think you're going to see a 3-wide move here on the back. Yep, there it is.
And Fortune the 5th.
He's going to slide up. The tires are old. They're hot.
Strauss almost into the wall. He got real dirty air off of Pedro. Pedro gets the position back. Move Pedro up to 5th. 2 laps to go.
Inch will have the run this time through 1 and 2.
Julian down the backstretch. Now a lap and a half to close this out for Season 2 of the VOR DW12 ICONIC Series. Coming to the white flag. And do we got caution? Caution on the racetrack?
Yeah, I think they wadded it up.
And that's it. Julian is going to be your winner. And what happened here?
Rouse and is that Blythe?
Oh, one of the Fortune. Oh, just goes up and nails Strauss. Poor Strauss. That was Joshua Fortune. And Julian. Yeah, Sebastian. Yeah, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
He did a great job avoiding that. He got on the brakes. He checked up. He put himself in the right position to not take any damage, and he picked up 2 spots. So win-win for him.
Yeah, and get back to Julian just in time here, entering corner 3, coming to 4, and he is coming to the combined caution and checkered flag. Your winner today for our Friday matinee here at Michigan, Julian Altena, with a pretty much a second half race domination there. That Royal Blue number 11 with the win here at Michigan. Worst to first in the worst to first challenge. Liam O'Sullivan second. We will be talking to him. He's going to probably be a little frustrated there with the I think he was a little frustrated there with the handling of the car. And Edson Santos gets third, which bodes well for his team in the repeat of their team championship.
We're going to go back to back there. And who won season 1? Was it also Raffi?
Yes.
Yeah, season 1 is season 1. This is season 2.
This is season 2, yep. So let's see if we can get the results up here. And there you go. Oh, wow. We got extended stats. So Julian with the win with 4 stops. I'm not sure if that's right. I'm not. Liam O'Sullivan has 3. Interesting. I have to see how that. But yeah, 54 laps led, 5 laps for O'Sullivan, 5 for Santos, 27 for Fortson. So he's kind of kicking himself. He led that whole first quarter of the race, and then when pit stops happened, it just kind of not.
Yeah, he slid through his box.
Yeah,
he slid through his box. He gave it up.
Yeah, it just didn't quite gel for him. Pedro P6, Dan Inch P7, Jonas Weber P8, Kinder P9 got 2 positions there right there at the very end. Hugo Gallas at P10. And I think those number of stops are right. I think Julian a number of times hit pit road a little bit earlier or later than everyone there toward the end of the field. So Christensen with the 2-stopper, Pedro with the 2-stopper. Moving on, Fortune, Silvazzi, Bogdan, Strauss, Boney, Fortune, Josh Fortune, Leighton Furness. Then we got Van Bosch, Feuerstein, and Lee Kane, 20th there. 20-car field. 21 actually registered, but 20 took the green flag. And there you see.
I think that might have been me, Gary, the 21st.
I show it's Dorshinko. So he must have had a connection issue. All right, let's get on in here to the